guess what? I got a new toy. Wait right there. I got one of these. Okay, so firstly, let me introduce myself. If we haven't met before, I am Nicole from the Little Craft House, and I like to make polymer clay earrings. Today, however, we're going to be playing with my new toy, my Cricut Maker 3. So I'm going to be open and transparent about my new Cricut machine. I was sent the Cricut machine by the lovely people at Cricut. Now, as part of my agreement working with Cricut, I need to produce some reels over on Instagram for them. So I do not have to produce a YouTube video, therefore this video is not sponsored by them. I'm just going to make this tutorial because I came up with an awesome idea for some earrings and I just wanted to share it with you guys. So this is not part of my sponsored deal with them. Everything that I'm going to be doing in this is my true and honest opinions and ideas. So for the project today, we are going to start by making our polymer clay earrings. So I've chosen two different colours of polymer clay that I'm firstly going to get nice and conditioned and getting them all nice and soft and workable. So the two colours that I've chosen are Primo Sunshine Yellow, and this pink here I am pretty sure is from the Cernet range. So I've been trying to use up little bits of polymer clay that I have around my craft room. These ones I had previously cut up for a different project and had them in a container, so I didn't have their wrappers to know exactly what name and brand they are, but yes, I'm absolutely certain that the yellow is Sunshine from Primo, and yeah, it's just this pink. I'm not 100% sure which one it is, but it is a really nice colour. We're going to be using a colour blend technique today. So it's one that I've done a few times before. It's one of my favourite techniques, and we're going to take these two colours and blend them together to create an ombre effect. So if you've watched my tutorials before, you know how much I love this effect, this technique. So I have done it quite a few times in the past, but today we are going to add an extra element to it by adding the decal from the Cricut Maker. So you'll see that I've conditioned up the clay and I've put them into two equal sized pieces and put them alongside of each other. I'm just using my acrylic roller to squish them down so that they're not too big and fat, and then I'm going to start passing it through the pasta machine. Now with each pass through the machine, I'm going to fold the clay in half long ways and then just give it a slight push together from the bottom up, just to try and avoid trapping any air in there. Now, every time I pass the clay through, I want to always keep it long ways, the colours going up and down. And we're going to just keep passing it through the machine, folding and rolling until the colours blend in the centre. Now, depending on what colours you choose, sometimes they blend really quickly. Other times it can take a little bit longer to get that beautiful ombre effect happening. Now I am just fiddling around here trying to find a block of clay that I can put at the top of the pasta machine. I would need something to stop my clay from stretching out too wide. So I've just put a packet of the black Primo here, black souffle, and that is just going to help stop that clay from just spreading out, because I want my clay to be a long piece of clay. I don't want it to be too wide. And I'm just going to speed up this little rolling process because these two colours took a little while to get the blend happening. So I'm pretty happy with how this has turned out. There are a few little ripples in the clay from the pasta machine, and that's totally fine. To fix that, I just get my acrylic roller and just give a really slight roll over the top in both directions, and that'll smooth out any of those ripples. Before starting this project, I did have a little play around on the Cricut design space on the computer, and I found some designs that I wanted to transfer onto my polymer clay. So because of the designs I chose today, I needed to grab out my ruler and work out which shape cutter was going to work best, and that would be this arch. So I have a few different arches, but I needed to make sure that it was in the right proportions. So this one just worked perfectly. And now I've cut these pieces. I'm going to grab my baking tray, which I have some other arches on that I've already previously cut. So I've been playing around with a few different blends. Some of these, or most of them actually, I think I used 3 colours in to create the ombre effect. And then this pair has obviously just got the 2 colours. Right, so I'm going to just transfer these now onto the baking tray. Very unglamorous there. They did not want to come off nicely. As you can see there though, that colour blend, I'm so happy with that. That looks amazing. So just going to pop them on. I like to use baking paper on my baking tray. And then we're just going to pop them into the oven for about an hour to cook. 45 minutes to an hour at 130 degrees. Okay, so this is where I went and jumped onto the computer and got onto the Cricut design space. Now there was so many different designs that I could choose without having to do any editing or designing myself, which was great. And I came up with these arched shape images. So I am a brand new user to the Cricut machine. So I don't want to include in this tutorial exactly how to do things because I'm probably doing them wrong. I got where I needed to be in the end, so that is all that matters to me today. Once I get more used to the software and how to do things, I can do some future tutorials showing all the ins and outs. But for now, I'm just going to cover the basic thing. But what I will say is I have chosen to use the smart vinyl so that I don't need to use a cutting mat, and I'm using a permanent adhesive vinyl as well. So this one's matte black. I don't know if it's called matte black. This was just the sample sheet that came in with my machine, but it's definitely got a matte finish, not a gloss finish, which I quite liked that. Right, so I'm going to just let the machine do its thing, cut out all my little images, and then we'll be able to move back down into the craft room to get on with the next step. And just while that's cutting away, a fun fact for you, my Cricut machine is currently living on the kitchen bench because I have nowhere else for it to go. So I think a cleanup of my craft room is going to be in desperate need so that I can try and either put a new table in for it or just try and find somewhere at least for me to store it while it's not being used. But yeah, I'll keep you informed and up to date on that one. Right, so my polymer clay pieces are now out of the oven and they've all cooled down. I've given them a quick little sand off around the edges just to make them all nice and smooth and cut off any of those extra bits that was making it rough before. Now, I've got my clay pieces there, and I also have my strip of vinyl. If I hold it like this, you can see the decal in it. I know from my first piece that I created yesterday, these take me a little while to weed, so I think we might be doing that in a time lapse. So yeah, firstly I'm going to move these ones to the side and we're going to get on with transferring this onto some transfer tape. Now I think to make it easier for myself, I'm going to cut out each of these into pairs so that I can just work on one pair at a time. As predicted, this process of weeding out all the extra vinyl took me forever. Those bigger pieces weren't so bad, but there was lots of little tiny details in the design, which when it was in Design Studio, I couldn't work out how to delete out those tiny pieces, so they still cut anyway. Some of them removed with that backing piece, but I'm just trying to get out the little stars and circles that are within the mushroom top here. That was very, very tricky. So I'm guessing that the more you do weeding and the more that you play around with the vinyl, the better you get at it, and hopefully the faster the process becomes. So as I mentioned before, I'm just a beginner, so it is taking me quite a while to get used to it and find a bit of a rhythm in doing things. So I'm just transferring the image now onto the transfer tape so that we can put it onto our polymer clay. So I'm just hoping that I've got it well stuck enough, and then I'm just going to cut it in half again. So now I've got my individual pieces to go onto each piece of my polymer clay. So one thing that I was incredibly grateful for was the fact that this image was already in the same proportions as what my shape cutter was. So I didn't really have to change too much about it. I've gone slightly smaller than my arch cutter just so that it just gives me that little bit of leeway in case my polymer clay moved or squished whilst I was preparing it. One thing I also thought I would just quickly mention is I've moved positions on my desk at the moment. This part of the desk where I am is right in front of the window, so it just helps a little bit to see the vinyl as I'm weeding it. It's a bit brighter, so I don't know if it's me getting older or what, but I struggle a little bit to see some of the little bits of the decal, so being in front of the brighter natural light definitely helped. So after I struggled a little bit with the weeding of the other one, I thought I would do a reverse weed with this design, applying it all to the transfer tape first, then taking off all the extras. I also struggled doing this too, and actually think that the normal way was definitely much easier. I got my fingerprints all over the stickiness here, so I don't know if there's an easier way to do that, but yeah, I found that to be more complicated. Okay, so the sun is coming through and streaming across the desk now, but I just wanted to show you these pieces because I am so happy with the way they have turned out. This one is obviously a little bit dark with that dark blue at the top, but I still really, really like it. And now while the sun is out, I'm going to go and chuck some resin on one of these ones. I'm going to use the UV resin. I think I might do the butterflies. I'm just going to go and put some resin on those and get that setting in the sun. I didn't get round to the last snake image. Can you see it there? Didn't get round to him at the moment because I didn't cut myself enough transfer tape. So I might come back and do that one afterwards as well. But I'm just going to go and quickly put some resin on this one while the sun is out and shining. Right, so here are all the pieces. I've done the resin on the top of the butterfly ones. I can see there's a little bit of glitter has snuck in there. I'm not sure if I want to resin the rest of them yet or not. I'm thinking that I might need to, just as an added help to stop them from coming off. I think it's just going to seal them and protect those images over time, because as people wear them, they may touch them a lot, or if they happen to get damp, moisture in the air, it might come off. So just as an added protection layer, I think I will pop some UV resin on the rest of them as well. All right, so I did end up applying a coat of resin to all of these pieces. I really do think that it's just going to help protect those images that are on it. I will, however, I made another pair, this pair here, and I'm not going to resin these. These ones I'm just going to keep for myself. I'm going to wear them lots and lots, and I will test out how well that vinyl stays stuck to the polymer clay without any protection on it at all. So I will check back in with you guys at some point and let you know how they go. So now I just need to finish off all these pieces and make them into earrings. So I already sanded them before I attached the decals on top. So now I'm just drilling my holes. So I know you can't see properly from this angle, so I really do apologize. I'm trying to drill approximately 2 millimeters down from the top because I like to use 8 millimeter jump rings. So I think that's an added bonus of having that resin coating on top as well, is that I was a little bit worried drilling the other pair that I have, the ones that I'm going to keep for myself. I was a little bit worried drilling them, that as the drill went through, just in case it grabbed that bit of vinyl and pulled it off. So yeah, I think having the resin also helps to hold on during the drilling process. Okay, so here I am just finding some acrylic toppers to match these earrings. So I actually recorded, or thought I was recording, the assembling process. So adding the jump rings and the toppers to my pieces. I obviously didn't hit record, it didn't record that. So you'll just have to use your imagination. I'm sure you know what it looks like assembling the pieces. So anyway, here I'm just matching up those toppers. I then assembled them using my 8mm jump rings. These tops have already got the backs glued to them. I'd done them previously, so I was quite glad that I'd done that previously, so I didn't have to do them now. And so here are my final pairs, all completed. I've really loved working with these decals. I think it just added something completely different that I wouldn't normally do, out of my comfort zone, using the Cricut machine as well. So I'm looking forward to using it more, getting a bit more comfortable and familiar with that, because I have a load of ideas all trapped up in my brain that I'm really wanting to get out and do. So hopefully I can make some more tutorials for you guys. Let me know in the comments if you would like to see some more tutorials using the adhesive vinyl, because as I say, I've got plenty of ideas to still come. So anyway, thank you guys for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed watching it. I've certainly enjoyed making these. And if this tutorial has inspired you to get crafty and creative and make your own pairs of earrings, please tag me on social media and in your posts, because I would love to see what you've created. So thanks again for watching, and I shall see you again next week.